What's going on, everybody? This is John J Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with a brand new episode of the Dayton Triangles franchise here on Madden 25. Except we have 31 other UFL team builder squads to make a revamped UFL, and we are so excited to get some prime time action coming your way shortly as we are taking on the Minnesota Blizzard in this episode. Now, Minnesota, just like us, finished pretty badly last year. Both of us picked in the top 5 in the UFL draft, except we are in the midst of a great turnaround while Minnesota is still trying to figure things out. They're 2-5 going into this game, but I will say that they do have some young, intriguing pieces on their football team and young, intriguing players that could certainly give us problems in this matchup here today if we're not careful. Most notably, that person that could give us some extreme problems in this one is Jacoby Bagley. Jacoby Bagley was the #1 overall selection in the UFL draft, and he already has that star development, is looking to really be on the door of being a 79 overall, like things like that. Just seeing how Jacob Bagley has done so far this season, he's actually played pretty well. He already has 5 sacks and 3 TFLs behind the line of scrimmage as well. He's been a pretty impactful player in his first year in the UFL, trying to prove quickly that he belongs in that bigger NFL when it's all said and done. Now, the good news for us, though, is that we do at least get some upgrades that we can work with on our end, though, and a couple of those upgrades are going to go to backup players on our team, or at least key backups. Heath Whitehead is one of them. He was a second-round pick for us in the UFL draft, is our backup, considering that we do have like Jonathan McGriff on the roster, and he's actually looking like a pretty good looking ball player, good enough to be a starter in this league, so we're lucky to have him. We're going to work on his power back abilities for the time being, and his temporary boost actually goes down, so he is a natural 74 overall at this point, but he doesn't get an actual overall upgrade, even though he gets a +3 in break tackling, which is pretty good to see. Now, the other player that's getting an upgrade is Gabe Truman. Now, Gabe Truman is someone that actually is a rookie on our team. We picked him like in the 5th round, and he actually has a surprisingly high overall, and you know, someone that could certainly be in the mix to be a starter on our football team someday. For now, for Gabe Truman, we are going to work on him being a run stopper, because that is a weakness in his game. He doesn't get an overall increase either, but his temporary boost goes down. He does, however, get a +2 to awareness and a +3 to block shedding as well, which brings him up to a natural 71 overall. Definitely an intriguing player to watch as this series continues. But with that being said, now that we got all the administrative work out of the way, I am so ecstatic to jump into this episode here, man. Looking to continue our hot season as we try to get to 6-2. If you are excited as well, I need you guys to go ahead and do a couple of things for me. Hit that like button, and then also hit that subscribe button as well if you do happen to be brand new to the channel. And with that being said, let's go ahead and jump things into Welcome Stadium to see if we can beat the Minnesota Blizzard in prime time action. I'll see you guys down there on the field. Alright, boys, so let's go ahead and jump into the action here against the Minnesota Blizzard, who had that #1 pick last season. We'll see what this new Minnesota team is like. And just because they were awful last year doesn't mean that they already had pieces to begin with. Otis Casey, and this is a firm introduction of him. I'll tell you what, he's one of the best running backs in the league from a overall perspective, and getting featured here early on as he touches the ball 2 times on the opening drive and is gonna get the first down multiple times on this first drive as well, as Otis Casey has Minnesota inside the 35-yard line. They gave it to him one more time, taking it down the left-hand side. We do slow him down a little bit, but it's a much more manageable 3rd down because of his hard running, and it opens up the rest of the playbook where they're going to try to scramble to right inside, but it's brought down. But there's a penalty. Please don't let this be touching. It is illegal contact for Ty Moody. He's going to get dinged for it, and it's an automatic 1st down. Such a painful way to keep the drive going. And honestly, that penalty is going to be haunting us tremendously as Maxwell Camp is going to score later on in that drive. It should have been maybe 3-0 at most, so we gave up 4 points because of that, and now our offense will need to respond in kind. Thankfully, we have a running back in Jonathan McGriff, who is currently at least pretty close to leading the UFL in rushing yards right this second. And so we're going to lean on him heavy here. First 2 plays is going to be the Jonathan McGriff show. And those first 2 plays are going to lead into a first down for your Dayton Triangles, as we feel like we can go ahead and set up a little bit of a play action here. Moving upfield, firing over the middle, and finds DeAndre Bazier for a huge first down, as that will carry them across midfield. And Jonathan McGriff, oh my goodness, he's really feeling himself. What a nasty juke move to have a little bit of an ankle breaker there. Is now 1st and 10 coming up from about the 30-yard line. Collar is going to run it over to Jonathan McGriff up the middle. And Jonathan McGriff is going to put our Dayton Triangles in the red zone. So red zone opportunity coming up as we have a chance to answer back. The touchdown scored earlier in the quarter against this Minnesota team, but that is not the direction that we want to go. Trying to set up the screen, and it looks like they were in fact in man coverage. Probably would have been slightly better off if we maybe tried to scramble with Andrew Collar or something, because 2nd and long is not a spot that we want to be in. Now, Jonathan McGriff will help make it a little bit easier for us, but, you know, 3rd and 5 is certainly not the most ideal place to be in, right? So 3rd and 5 coming up. We're looking to the left-hand side. Thankfully, we have a top-notch wide receiver in Leon Thomas, as Leon Thomas is going to get us into the goal line inside the 5-yard line. Looking for an answer back. Collar looks over the middle and finds the superstar Leon Thomas in the end zone. Touchdown, Dayton! And we will instantly answer back, and we will indeed tie things up against Minnesota, as we are staring down a tied ball game. But offensively, listen, their offense was actually not the reason why they were terrible last year, and we're finding that out the hard way, to be honest with you, as, you know, we're through 1 quarter of action already, and it's been an interesting battle between our 2 teams, all knotted up after the 1st quarter. So with that being said, we'll jump into the 2nd quarter of action, where Minnesota is greeted by a 3rd and long. They try to throw in my user's direction, but Jared Strong, with a little bit of my help and guidance, is going to be able to deflect that pass away, force Minnesota to punt. And for the first time today, your Dayton Triangles have a chance to take the lead in this Thursday night special against the Minnesota Blizzard. Now, 3rd and 4 coming up, as Andrew Collar is going to get ready to drop back in the pocket. Looks over the middle of the field and finds DeAndre Bazier, who stays on his feet. He refuses to go down and picks up a few extra yards because of it. Tough effort there by DeAndre Bazier. Almost forced us to miss the first down, but, you know, we're going to just ignore that point for the time being, because obviously that drive is still continuing anyways, as we'll try to throw for it again here on a 3rd and short. I'll try to get him off balance here a little bit, and sure enough, got an open Will Hunter right in front of our face. And why not, you know, take nothing wrong with taking a profit, even though, you know, the profit might not be too terribly high. It still keeps this defense on the field, still allows us to wear them down, but it looks like they are catching on to what we want to do. You know, we want to try to be a little bit on that run heavier side, because I don't want Andrew Collar, as great as he is as a football player, I don't want him to do everything, right? So, that being said, 3rd and 10 coming up. Collar's going to go ahead, drop back in the pocket, looks over to the left-hand side, and it's a beautiful throw to DeAndre Bazier. It looked close. I wanted to try to go like no huddle here in this exact moment, but he actually did drag both feet in bounds. It was a legitimate completion but we will go a little bit in the wrong direction here after a short run because we were caught cheating. We had the holding penalty. And now it's 3rd and 17. Collar dropping back. He's going to need a big play downfield. He's got one open in Leon Thomas inside the 10, and he gets brought down at about the 5-yard line. And it is such a luxury to have someone like Leon Thomas on this team because you know that there is not really too many people out there in this league that can cover Leon Thomas on a consistent basis. And so we will go ahead and shelve that for right now. Trust the running game. And it will lead to a Jonathan McGriff touchdown. And there it is, folks. We will have our very first lead of this game. And with an extra point as well, we have a chance to make it a 7-point game. But we got a little bit too carried away on the extra point. So the extra point is no good. I mess it up. And so we're only up by 6. Hopefully that doesn't hurt us down the line. Now, with that being said, Minnesota will take back over with 3.5 minutes left to go in this first half. As we will get to the quarterback right away. A group effort there between Paul Hitchens. And it looks like Cameron Spencer was also involved in the sack as well. So a lot more breathing room for our defenses now. 2nd and 18. They drop it off to the right-hand side, though, as it looks like Peter Townsend and another Dayton defender was able to bring him down. But 3rd and 7 still, so going to be tough for him to pick up this first down. Not for this quarterback, though. He's going to drop it over the bucket of Jared Strong. And, of course, after we had them on a 2nd and 18 at some point, they're able to pick up those yards. And then not too long after, Minnesota is going to score on this 2-minute play. As that is going to be a touchdown for Minnesota. A catch and score for Steve Floyd. And because we did miss that extra point, Minnesota, they are ahead once again. And we are certainly on upset alert once again, as we wanted to force feed to start this next drive to Leon Thomas, but that was incomplete though. So now 2nd and 10 coming up. Collar dropping back, looks over the middle, steps up in the pocket, and finds DeAndre Bazier flexing on them hoes real quick, but we had to get to the line quickly. It's a no huddle time for us right now. Collar looking around to the right hand side, dumps it off to DeAndre Bazier, but he can't hang on to it as he was hit pretty hard as soon as he caught that pass. So now 2nd and 10 coming up as Collar drops back over to the right hand side as Will Hunter is able to bring that pass in. That superstar corner was barreling down quickly. And at that point, we will use a timeout. We still have 2 timeouts that we can utilize. But I definitely think that this no huddle is hurting them a little bit more as we throw over to the left-hand side. We got DeAndre Bazier with a nice catch. And he'll get himself out of bounds quickly. So red zone opportunity coming up for the Triangles as they set up shop. 1st and 10. Fires to DeAndre Bazier, who just barely picks up the first down. Trying to go no huddle one more time. Less than 25 seconds left. Collar in the shotgun. Fires to the left-hand side, and it's incomplete. Trying to get that pass off quickly to Leon Thomas, but we didn't have the right look as I thought we did. So, 2nd and goal here. Oh my goodness, I had a man wide butt naked open. But circle was not my first read. That's why I did not see him. And by the time that I did, it was simply too late. As now, 3rd and goal from the 12-yard line. We do have the field goal in our back pocket, but trying to force it to Leon Thomas. And that was certainly a mistake. We had Will Hunter open. And yet, we done messed up, Aarons. And that is going to take us into the end of the first half. And I will say this, we are in the game, and even though we certainly had our fair share of mistakes, you know, we're going to be all right. Now, with that being said, while we're waiting for the second half to start, checking out some few of the notable games around the league that we'll definitely keep an eye on. So Evansville is taking on Boston, and Boston is looking to establish themselves in the AFC East, while Evansville is trying to stay alive. San Antonio is off to a hot start. They'll be taking on the Battlehawks. And then Louisville is taking on New Orleans on Sunday Night Football in what could be a key NFC matchup. So we'll have to, if we remember, we'll have to go ahead and see how those particular games go. That could have some impacts on our league as we start to move into the end of the first half of this season. But what's really tough about what happened at the end of the first half, you know, us turning the ball over in the red zone, and of course, Minnesota scoring with 2 minutes left. Minnesota has the ball to start this second half as well, so we are in a little bit of deep trouble here, as if this turns into an 8-point game, then things could get a little bit spicy here. I'm not going to lie to you. So this third down becomes extremely critical for us to make sure we get them off the field, as it looks like Vincent Hotzman is trying to step up in the pocket, thought about scrambling. However, J.J. Peters and Matt Weaver were able to apply some pressure, and surprisingly, Minnesota had to punt this football away. So we take back over here to start this second half, as we'll go ahead and run it for Jonathan McGriff, who's in the open field, makes the man miss, and it's a first down for the Dayton Triangles. And you can tell that while we haven't had that home run type of carry yet, we are wearing down this Minnesota defense. You know, seeing a couple of guys, you know, get hurt on the Minnesota sideline. We hope they're okay. But now forcing backups to come in and try to make plays. This should have been another one of those big runs, but we just didn't get it because Joseph Knighton, who's not even involved in the main action of the blocking, is caught with a holding penalty. So instead, it's going to be 1st and 17, but we have an open man downfield. We fire a rocket quick, and it's Will Hunter breaking a tackle, taking it into the end zone. Touchdown, Dayton. And the Triangles are back in the lead once again, thanks to a deep ball from Will Hunter. Now, because we did end up missing the extra point earlier, we are going to go for the 2-point conversion. And the Minnesota defense does end up standing tall. So it almost acts like we missed 2 extra points instead of just missing the 1 extra point there. So we're only going to be up by 5. So Minnesota does have a chance to reestablish the lead for themselves here. But we have a chance to get him off the field as well. 3rd and 5. Looking over the left-hand side. He's got an open receiver there. Looks like he was possibly brought down. Looks like that was Paul Hitchens that made the tackle. But it was, of course, across the first down marker. And we're going to be feeling a little bit more generous this holiday season, because we are going to go ahead and give him an extra 5 yards. Matt Weaver is caught off sides. He definitely was fooled by the hard snap count. And don't look now, but Minnesota, they got them keys out, and they are certainly putting together a drive right now, late in this 3rd quarter. Driving in Dayton territory. But can we hold them down here on this 3rd and 7? As Huffton's going to go ahead and move Otis Casey out to the outside. Looking over the middle, but throws it low. He did have Otis Casey for the first down, but just missed him. He just plain missed him. And now 53-yard field goal attempt here for the Minnesota Blizzard. The kick is up in the air, and it's no good. It bounces off the upright. It bounces off the upright for no good. And Minnesota, man, is going to also lose the opportunity to put more points up on the board. So at least it's not just us. But thanks to that missed field goal, we will take over at about the 40-yard line. So amazing field position for us here as we get into the back end of this 3rd quarter, as we have a chance to pick up the first down off of a 3rd and inches. And you already know we're going to pick that up with our ground game. Our ground game has been so gosh darn consistent throughout the course of this ball game. We absolutely love to see it, as we've been loving it so much. We're going to actually run the exact same play again, and Jonathan McGriff breaks it for an even bigger run. First down for the Dayton Triangles, as that is going to move the sticks for an easy first down. As now we find ourselves in field goal range, but we're thinking about more. Firing over the middle, and we'll get it out to Leon Thomas. Might have fixated on that read a little bit too much. Might have been better getting it to Grayson Heineck, but we'll see about that. But 2nd and 4 coming up, though. We'll still pick up the first down anyways. And we'll continue our steady climb into the red zone, as we will enjoy our first red zone opportunity to start the in the second half. But we will go ahead and pick up on that after the start of the new quarter. Third quarter's coming to an end. We need those 4s up in the comments section, because we are certainly in a battle here right now. So these next few plays could be crucial, because scoring a touchdown on this drive could truly help putting Minnesota away here. It truly could. If we settle for a field goal, though, then, this Minnesota team is going to still be working around. I want to put the dagger in them as soon as possible. 2nd and 4 coming up as we drop back the pass, and oh my goodness. Oh, we had to wait for Jonathan McGriff to turn around. I threw it early, and man, if we did not do that, that could have been a touchdown for Jonathan McGriff, but thankfully it doesn't hurt us, because on the 3rd and 4, Will Hunter is going to be happening to get open, and Will Hunter will find the end zone. Touchdown for Dayton, and then it still ends up being 7 points on the board. And yes, we did settle for the extra point, and yes, we did also make the extra point, so those shenanigans do end up coming to an end. And we also get Minnesota to go 3 and out, so when it matters the most, our defense is really starting to stand tall. For 2nd and short coming up as we go play action. Looking over to right inside. We had some open guys. We really did, but Chambers is going to ruin that, though. Going to be 3rd and short instead. His collar is going to run up the middle for Jonathan McGriff, as McGriff is going to go ahead. He will pick up the first down for your Dayton Triangles. And that's a little bit more of a gut punch, as that allows us to take a little bit more time off this clock. This is what we love to be in. Our ability to run the ball, second to none in the United Football League. Being up by multiple scores in the 4th quarter, that is an ideal situation for us. As Jonathan McGriff dances a safety out of his shoes, it's another first down to Dayton, as we are laying the hammer down here in this 4th quarter. And I mean, if it's, listen, man, if it's not broke, why fix it? Why change anything? Jonathan McGriff, man, just having an absolutely brilliant day so far. He truly is. And it will set up another red zone opportunity, where this time we actually do complete the pass to Jonathan McGriff. Last time we tried to throw that choice route, it ends up being incomplete because he threw it short. So now 2nd and short coming up, is we thought about doing a little bit of RPO, but instead, I mean, again, stop me if you heard this before, Jonathan McGriff taking that carry, and he actually does get a little bit tired after all the carrying he's been doing. So we get it to the 2nd round, former 2nd rounder in Heath Whitehead, and Heath Whitehead is going to find the end zone. Touchdown for Dayton, and the Triangles are going to score yet again. And this is going to be a 19-point lead with 5 minutes left to play. So depending on how these next few drives go, this could be a formality right here. Finally able to put away Minnesota. But with that being said, it also helps that their receivers are just straight dropping passes. Granted, that also probably could have been picked off if Paul Hitchens was more ready to make that particular play, as we're now going to have Minnesota in a 4th down situation. We'll see what they end up deciding to do. And it looks like they are, in fact, going to go ahead. And they're going to go for it here on 4th down. Little choice at this juncture of the ball game. Trying to go deep downfield. And Denario Allen swats it away. Is it possible that he could have gone for the interception? Absolutely. That was certainly in the cards for him. But, made a much smarter decision, and we're able to turn that into a field goal. So we're now going to be up 36-14, your score, with 3.5 minutes left to play. It seems like the victory is going to, in fact, be in hand. I just want to see our guys go ahead and try and finish strong, as somehow that tight end stays on his feet. That should have been at least a minimal game. I don't know how he had all those guys there, and nobody was able to bring him down. Like, are we serious right now? That's crazy to me. And so Minnesota is now going to go into a no huddle here, trying to catch our defense off guard, firing over the middle, and it's nearly intercepted. Denario Allen was there to put the clamps on. He got that seatbelt out like he was putting a car seat in a car. And it's going to be 3rd and 5 now because of it. Now, not surprised here, Minnesota is going to try to pass the ball here, but Hoffman wanted to scramble, and we bring him down. That's going to run some time off the clock here on 4th down. Minnesota needing a little bit of help here, and they get the cutback cheese. They literally get the cutback cheese to happen. That will carry them into the 2-minute warning, but Minnesota is cooking something up here in this 4th quarter of action, as that will be thrown for another 1st down and getting out of bounds as well. So Minnesota is able to save their timeouts. As the very next play here, looks like they do a little bit of a halfback screen as Sheldon Ferry, one of the younger players that we have on this roster, and getting some playing time to, give some relief to, Ty Moody, so he doesn't have to play like every single snap. And I should have jumped on that earlier. I read it, but I hesitated, and that's the difference between it being a completion and another incompletion, possibly being intercepted outright. That's on me totally. Now, 2nd and goal from the 9-yard line, though, as Hoffman's going to drop back. And honestly, they're like, great throw, dude. Absolutely great throw. Both of our corners were in really good spots. It had to be a perfect throw in the back of the end zone. And to Vince Hoffman's credit, it absolutely was. Of course, Minnesota will go for the 2-point conversion here to try to make it a 2-score game, and without having to worry about the 2-point conversions from here on out. And so a 14-point game, so they can just go for touchdowns, and that's it. However, Minnesota would need to get the onside kicks here to put this game away, and we fail to pick up the onside kick. Chat, are we choking right now? Is that really what's happening right in front of our eyes at this very moment? That's wild to me. But 2nd and 8 coming up, though, as Hoffman throws to the left-hand side. That's a dot over to the corner of the sideline. Still able to somehow complete that pass, though. As it's going to be 1st and 10 now for Hoffman, who throws over to right-hand side. And that is also going to be completed as well. 1st and 10 coming up, and another red zone opportunity coming in for Minnesota. Hoffman drops back, looks over to the left-hand side, dumps it off short, breaks the tackle, and needs multiple Dayton defenders in order to bring him down. Where at this point, instead of just going with the runoff on the clock, they're going to take their final timeout. So that just means if we touch the ball just one more time we touch this ball, then we will win this game. It's getting a lot sweatier than what I thought it was going to be, though. 3rd and goal from the 7-yard line. Hoffman dropping back, faces some pressure. It's going to be brought down by Cameron Spencer, who is in fact going to be bringing him down into the backfield. And with that being said, boys, we have a chance to put this game away, and we will. Tough coverage in the back of the end zone, and that is going to seal it. Your Dayton Triangles are going to win on Primetime Television, and they will beat the Minnesota Blizzard by a good one. Now, I thought that overall we did end up playing a good game, but not necessarily a great game, as I truly did believe that we let the Minnesota Blizzard hang around with us a little bit longer than I would have anticipated. Definitely had some miscues in terms of our special teams and our lack of 2-point conversion abilities. Made things a lot more interesting, but, we saved our best for last as we played our best quarter in the 4th quarter, though. And Andrew Kohler had mostly a successful day today. He was 22 for 32 passing the football in this one, threw for over 280 yards and 3 touchdowns. However, he did have an interception in the red zone that did end up initially costing us points in the first half, which is why we were down at halftime. However, Jonathan McGriff was unstoppable on the ground today. He had 25 carries in this matchup and went for nearly 6 yards a carry. So an extremely impressive performance for Jonathan McGriff, not to mention finding the end zone. Heath Whitehead had 1 carry and 1 carry only, but made the most of it as he was also able to find the end zone as well. For the receivers, DeAndre Bazier actually had an extremely big day today. He had 11 catches for 110 yards, but did not find the end zone though. Will Hunter, on the other hand, our bridge player at wide receiver, while he didn't catch the ball nearly as much, he also went for nearly 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. Leon Thomas was able to find the end zone, but he had a pedestrian game outside of that, only coming down with 5 catches and 55 yards. Now, defensively, I thought our defense played well. Our defense definitely clamped things down in the second half as Denario Allen and Ty Moody did lead the team in tackles today, with Jordan Baptiste and Paul Hitchens not too far behind. We also did a pretty good job getting a pass rush today, as we ended up coming out with 3 sacks. Cam Spencer and Matt Weaver had sacks of their own, but it was Paul Hitchens and Nas Evans that combined for half of a sack in this ball game, as that will help us out tremendously, really set the tone on the defensive side of the ball, and it leads to a great victory for your Dayton Triangles. Alright boys, so not only do we end up getting a win, but what we also do secondarily is that we do end up getting an upgrade for our second round rookie in Nas Evans. We get a little bit closer to finding out what that development trait is going to be, and you know, he's a solid football player, you know, right now, but we're going to get him a little bit closer and want to make him a little bit more versatile of a pass rusher. So I am going to upgrade his power rushing ability here, so while he doesn't get an upgrade to his overall, that +3 to power moves is going to help him out. However, we still have a long way to go in order to find out what his hidden development trait is, because he only has a 1/5 of the required downs played in order to unlock his potential. But that is going to go ahead and wrap things up here in this particular episode, as we do end up with a really nice win. We improved to 6-2 on the season. However, with that being said, we will have another primetime game in the next episode where we will take on the Michigan Panthers, and I'm pretty sure it's the first time in this series that we will be playing against the Michigan Panthers, so pretty excited about this matchup in particular. Can't wait to see how it turns out. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching the whole thing, man, and if you enjoyed yourself in this one, I need you to go ahead and do a couple of things for me. Hit that like button, and then also hit that subscribe button as well if you do happen to be brand new, as it does help my channel out tremendously when you do those 2 things. And with that being said, this is John J Gaming on the mic signing off, but hope you guys are all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.